Well, as you can see, I'm having a bit of fun at the moment, addressing some of the ignorant drivel that is put forward by creationists on YouTube. In this instance, this is a response to Manuppowerup's random questions that atheists will look stupid trying to answer. There were a lot of questions in there, so I'm going to move through this quite quickly, just to demonstrate that the questions are thoroughly ignorant, and rather than atheists looking stupid trying to answer them, the questions themselves are spectacularly stupid, and I felt they needed some addressing. So let's begin. Shouldn't we see half monkey, half human hybrids? Well, oh no, hang on a second, let's begin at the beginning. Termites and stomach bacteria. Right, which evolved first? Well, they co-evolved. That's the way evolution works. And that's that question answered. And the fact that you asked the question just demonstrates your abject ignorance of how evolution actually works. Moving on. Shouldn't we see half human, half monkey hybrids? Well, this is among the most ignorant bits of drivel I've ever come across. Firstly, you are a monkey. That's the end of it. You are a monkey. You're not a half monkey, half human hybrid. Humans are monkeys. I suggest you go and watch Aaron Ra's excellent video. Turns out we did come from monkeys. We are monkeys, mate. Sorry to drop that on you, and I'm really sorry if it goes against the principles that aren't even mentioned, in fact, in your 3,000-year-old book of ignorant myth. We are monkeys. Sorry. Doesn't natural selection seem godlike? Well, no, because natural selection is a process. It's not an unseen force as you describe it, and it's not man-made. Our formulation of natural selection is a description of a process that actually happens, and it's been demonstrated to happen. We can't prove it, you say. Well, proof is the remit solely of mathematics and formal logic. Science isn't in the business of proving things. It doesn't prove anything. It disproves things. That's how it operates. It falsifies theories, and by the principle of falsification we reject theories that don't stack up to reality. Why is there death in our world? Well, why is there death in yours? Is your mythology not a death cult? Are you not looking forward to the rapture and end times and all that? Is the whole basis of your mythology not looking forward to what happens after death? I always thought it was. The simple fact is that that death is a feature of the universe, and that has absolutely nothing to do with evolution. You're not descended from some retarded hybrid monkey fish baby, are you not? Well, no, I wouldn't have said so. You're certainly descended from the same source as the rest of us, because that's how evolution works. And deep in your ancestry, there are monkeys. In fact, if you look at your parents, they're monkeys, and so are you, and so am I. And I honestly don't see what objection you could have to that. You're an animal. What can you do? As for saying that we know there's no God, I think you'll find that we don't. Atheism is simply the lack of a belief. It doesn't necessarily conflate to a positive belief in the lack of existence of deities. This is one that comes up a great deal, and it's fairly ignorant. There's only one definition that applies to the whole set of all atheists, which is the absence of a belief in a deity. Now, certainly there are people who believe that there is no God, who actively believe that. I'm not one of them, and most of the atheists I know aren't. And You're building kind of a straw man there with regard to what atheism actually consists of. Why is it so organised, and what are the odds against it? Well, I'd like to refer you to something known as the serial trials fallacy. I'll put a link in the sidebar just so you can go and read up on it. Not that you'll understand it, but there you go. We'll provide you with the information anyway. The idea behind the serial trials fallacy is it doesn't actually matter how improbable something is, statistically speaking. Given a large enough sample set, even the most ridiculous probabilities become inevitable. The classic example, which is used in the serial trials fallacy elucidation that I'll give to you, is the tossing of 10 heads in a row. Now, this is an extremely improbable event, but if you take a large enough sample set of people all tossing coins, it becomes inevitable on the first attempt that somebody in that sample set will toss 10 heads in a row. Absolutely categorically inevitable. There's no escaping that. And this just shows how fallacious creationist probability calculations are. Just because something is improbable does not render it impossible. So, moving on to incoherent nonsense about the Big Bang and so on. First of all, the Big Bang has absolutely nothing to do with evolution. How do we know the Big Bang occurred? Well, we can see because we can see from the Doppler effect and the redshift in light coming from distant galaxies that they're moving away from us. And the further away they are, the faster they're moving away. Secondly, the singularity at the Big Bang has not been established. That's a feature of the standard Big Bang model, but it hasn't been established, and indeed there are two models on the table that don't feature a singularity. The first is obviously the Turek-Steinhardt brain worlds model, in which two brains collide, and that is the energy that basically created, wrong word, terrible word, that's the energy that we see as energy and matter inside our cosmic expansion. So the singularity wasn't established. Further, the Big Bang was not an explosion. It wasn't big and there was no bang. It was an expansion of space-time. Not sure what your reference to Newton's first law is about, and there's lots of nonsense about things in an explosion not banging into each other, but as I've already pointed out, there wasn't an explosion, and that idea is rooted in absolute ignorance. It was an expansion of space. The things that are in space aren't spatially moving. So galaxies and areas that are gravitationally bound aren't actually moving. It could be said that things are moving in relation to each other, but the galaxies aren't actually spatially moving. They're all sitting in the same place and the space between them is expanding. We know this is still continuing. I think that just about covers it. Again, have a look at the links I'll provide in the sidebar, specifically the serial trials fallacy, and learn why this kind of nonsense is nonsense and why it's rooted in absolute ignorance of how probabilities actually work. And thanks for listening. Cheers.